This is episode 17 of a series where we examine the cut content, design, and development of Fallout Tactics. Outside of bounds of the Cheyenne Mountain mission, there are 6 robots who were intended to be part of an ambush, but the triggers for this special attack were never implemented. Despite being invisible in-game, these enemies can actually attack you in turn-based mode in some circumstances, as they were never disabled. Stealth Boys appeared in the first 2 games, but are noticeably missing from Tactics. They are referenced in the game files though, and the cut item still has unique icons and a description. I really like their artistic take on the item, and it would have made stealth more viable, so it's too bad they didn't have time to add it in. Special encounters are numbered internally 1 through 26, but the 13th file is noticeably missing. At first I thought it might have been skipped for superstition, but the number 13 appears many other times throughout the game files, so it seems this was cut for an unknown reason. Unfortunately, the folder its assets would have appeared in are missing, so this unique encounter will always remain a mystery. Regular random encounters have some cut content as well. One random encounter involving 2 slavers has a note mentioning they wanted to add citizen slaves, but they never had a chance to put them in. Another encounter involving moonshiners states they intended to add a still and piles of booze, another idea they never got around to implementing. A cut encounter called Robot Horde has a note stating, "Not sure if we should use this." This was wisely cut as it would have spawned a robot behemoth, the most powerful enemy in the game, surrounded by 8 other strong enemies like pacification bots. The images for aim shots suggest there's a cut turret enemy, as the laser turret and auto turret are named Turret 1 and Turret 3, with Turret 2 notably missing. One of the GUI folders has some strange unused files, like this image called Train Station, which depicts the player in a Brahmin near some train tracks in a location that never appears in-game. This appears to be linked to an unused text file called Render Captions, which has notes like, "Say what you will about the master, Berthy, but at least he made the trains run on time. We ain't friends, we ain't partners. And remember when the train gets here, you ride in the cattle car. Hell is like White Brahmin." Hemingway's classic short story of the end of innocence comes to life in this Dry Falls community theater production. Tickets still available. One little shove and the whole farm could be mine, thought Bessie. I told you to stop following me. But Ed's words meant nothing to the stupid human. Take the A train to the 43rd and Broadway. Look for the man with 2 wooden legs. Where do you get these instructions anyway? Run out of yet one more town. Cletus and his wife-to-be wait for the train, both hoping it would take them somewhere with greener pastures and more open-minded neighbors. Damn it, Cal. You bring me here every day, and for what? Nothing. There is no train. There's no train, Cal. And stop looking at me like that. Their attempts to flee by rail thwarted, the last one-headed cow in the continental United States and her human companion, Pucky Boy, are caught in the paralyzation beam of the Zeta Reticulum mothership and abducted. Warrior, tell me about the rabbits, George. Brahmin, god damn it, if I have to tell you one more time about the stupid rabbits, I'll just snap. Another image in this folder is called Ratty, and depicts a Brotherhood recruit near a Brahmin, which is seemingly linked to another cut text file called Render Captions. Brahmin vasectomies are never easy, but Jeb sensed that this one would be particularly violent. The sky was growing dark and the cows were beginning to whisper. Jeb knew the signs well. As he fought back the urges, his hand lifted the blaster itself, and he stood there contemplating it. He knew only one thing: Jeb Granger was going to kill again. Welcome back to Fallout Gourmet, a post-nuclear cooking show. Our next item is Brahmin burgers. In the future, Buck Rogers really lets himself go. Maybe if I tell her it has multiple attachments and speed settings, she'll notice me. After several tries, John realizes that it is a Brahmin bull, and therefore cannot use his new inseminator 15-1200. Shoot it and it'll die, they said. You don't need more than one shot, they said. Here we see the ferocious wasteland rhino. Instead of trying to capture a glance at this elusive creature, I've decided to reduce it to a puddle of smoking goo with my trusty plasma rifle. Crikey, this is going to be messy. You can tell you're a redneck if you hunt domesticated Brahmin with an energy weapon. Perhaps these were intended to be some sort of Easter egg credit sequence, but it was never finished, and instead these strange files are left forever unused. While Mark Morgan's music defined the aesthetic of the first two games, Einan Zor's compositions have redefined the soundscape of modern Fallout. His work on Fallout 3, 4, and New Vegas was transcendent, but his work on the series actually began on Tactics to little fanfare, as he revealed during an interview. I scored Fallout Tactics in 1999, which was my first introduction to the world of Fallout. I remember this experience was a major highlight in my career at the time. This was before Bethesda invited me to score Fallout 3. I was given the opportunity to create a really original sound on Fallout Tactics. In many ways, it was the birthplace of the modern Fallout sound, featuring sampled tools and everyday items, employing non-musical instruments as instruments, as well as human voices inside this palette. I cannot imagine any of the new Fallout scores that have not in some way been influenced by my score for Fallout Tactics. I really fell in love with this kind of musical concept, which is totally different from other games. It's totally mood-driven, rather than thematic or rhythmically driven. The music is basically trying to cater to a certain mood, while not using much of what you'd really expect from a regular score. It's a little different. We tried to find any aspect of music that wasn't conventional. I had people screaming and shouting in the studio. I had people banging on some chairs, the floor, all kinds of really weird things. Basically, the outcome was a very interesting score which was not so friendly for listening to it by itself, but it worked pretty well within the game. Some of these changes, like more fleshed out random encounters and stealth boys, would have made Fallout Tactics into an even better game. Ultimately though, all of this was left on the cutting room floor.